Hello, I'm Adriana, and I'm so glad to see you today. This reading is for someone who needs insight and clarity into their next steps. I am a clairaudient channel. I have worked to increase my natural intuitive abilities for the last 8 years, really working on my inner stuff, shadow work, raising my vibration, that type of thing, in order to become a clearer channel for the divine energy. So before we get started with your cards, let's go ahead and align our energies together. If you could envision two light, two beams or balls of light kind of coming together at the top of your crown. I'm getting a blue and a white one, might be different colors for you. And then bringing that energy down into your heart space. Okay. All right, show me the personality, show me the higher self. All right, personality, Seven of Wands, higher self, King of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, I want to talk about your higher self first. This is your truer nature. Your higher self is all about giving to others, nurturing others, making sure they have enough. And there is a selflessness in this card. And there's also the idea that you're so abundant. Your higher self knows that you're so abundant you can afford to give things away. It's a luxury actually to be able to give. And again, the strong message of abundance, of having enough, these are goldfish. So gold, think like gold, right? And there's a big old gold carved right there. So there's a lot of like ancient wealth. So what I feel is going on between these two cards, and I know I haven't showed you the second one yet, is that your higher self is saying, tap into my wealth, tap into my abundance. I have a wealth of energy, a wealth of nourishment for you. Tap into me. And we'll get into how do we do that in a second. Right now, we've got Seven of Wands going on. To me, this crow looks like he's in a sticky situation. He's surrounded by these octopi arms, legs, whatever you want to call them. And they've got suckers on them. And he's defending his position. He's defending this, not sure if this is a mirror or an egg. There's something here. He's defending it though. And for the moment, these tentacles, that's the word I was looking for, are kept at bay. But again, it doesn't look like he could fly away, right? But they could still grab onto him. This is your higher self saying, hey, listen to me. Hey, I've got all this for you. I could be helping you out here. And in this Seven of Wands, you're really being challenged in, is it the same way? Is it multiple ways? I'm not getting specifically what kind of ways that you're being challenged. But you're aware, I do feel like you're aware of your own power in this situation. You're aware there is a sense of ownership going on. There is a sense of, yes, I have contributed to this, or yes, I am on purpose empowering myself here. But the thing is that you're not out of danger. You're still facing off with the danger. And although it may not be touching you right now, it could, right? So how practically, how specifically do you connect with that abundance of the higher self? Page of Wands. Oh, I love that card. And Ten of Cups. Oh, I love that card too. You got really good cards there. Look at that beautiful tiger. So the Page of Wands, we've got communication going on here, we've got friendship, but most of all, we've got power. And we talked about the power of that you feel, that you are empowering yourself. But what about asking that bigger power, asking your higher self for more power? Because in the realm of the higher self, there is no obstacle. This is getting really abstract for me. You see how he's not tethered to anything. He's flying from the air. This one is choosing to land on the ground and address these things in the water. He's not even in his own element, whereas this one is flying above. So this is about invoking more and more power and being willing also to share. So whether that's sharing responsibility, sharing your situation, it's about cultivating unlikely friendship, reaching out where you might not have reached out before, and taking action to communicate what is going on, to communicate what is this challenge you're really faced with. And 10 of Cups is about making sure that you're living in that space of completeness and gratitude for what is there. There is such a strong bridge between these two crows. And on that bridge, they're building this tree, and these wolves can traverse safely on there. So this alliance that we're talking about, it's a stronger alliance between you and your higher self. And it's understanding that obstacles are placed in your way for you to develop your own sense of strength, but that your higher self is actually the one behind all of these obstacles. They're the ones, they're pulling the puppet strings. So you're sitting there in the play interacting with the puppet, but actually the higher self has written the script and is behind there, again, pulling the puppet strings all along. I think this is something that we often miss when we're in the middle of an obstacle or we're in the middle of a challenge. We're so focused on the challenge itself, at least that this is how it is for me. We get so focused on the challenge itself that we're not looking at, well, why is this happening? And not only why is this happening, who is doing this? Your higher self is actually doing this. And you think, well, why in the heck would my higher self be putting me through this? And the reason is to, again, help you become stronger, help you to learn about yourself. The higher self is trying to expand through you, but to also strangely remind you that in these times, you're not alone. You can choose the heart-centered path. You can choose the detachment. You can choose to take your problem into stillness and sit with it. You can choose not to react to the trigger in front of you. There's a lot of ways that you can do this, but the higher self is saying, I'm here all along. You know, I may have put this pothole in front of you, but I didn't drop you in it. I'm here with my hand ready to pull you out. So really fascinated also by this full moon behind the two of them. And we had, like, the 7 of Wands is right in that full moon as well. So it's like a hidden ally all along. All right, I want to go a little bit more. What's happening in your situation here? Four of Swords, King of Cups, and 5 of Wands. I was thinking there was going to be a 5 of Wands going on. So we have had, so we've got crow and a crab right here. Can you see the crab? Same thing here, crows with the crab, and then there's a little crab in in here with the King of Cups. So why am I feeling that you're just not getting enough time and space to yourself? I'm feeling like everyone else is trying to literally get a piece of you, get something from you. And you're kind of getting to this place where you're like, enough, enough. I can't be here for everyone. I can't do this for everyone. And you're just wishing that you could have a little bit of respite or a little bit of solitude, maybe some balance. Again, this lovely moon going on here. I love this. We've got a figure 8 kind of, what's the word, hinted at here. This desire to go off on your own rather than face what's in front of you. There's also a component of, there's a component of bravery going on here. Like you feel that whatever you're going through is also showing or demonstrating your bravery, your courage. And so part of you doesn't want to leave what's going on. It's like the more you overcome, the more heroic you feel. So there might also be a suggestion of making it harder than it has to be because of the heroism. It's like this path here, this that's kind of a zigzag. And it would be difficult to get through that zigzag, right? It'd be much easier to just either walk up the middle of this path or go here where you're undisturbed. But it's like, no, but I want to show who I am. I want to show that I can do this. You are trying to prove to yourself, okay, now it's really coming. You are trying to prove to yourself that you can handle adversity, that you can handle challenges. And your higher self is sitting here saying, calm down. You don't need to do that. You don't need to be doing this. I'm with you. I already know you can handle this. So it's, maybe this seems like it's going against what I said before, that the higher self is putting these challenges in front of you. It's a little bit of both. The higher self is putting them there for you, but you're also putting them there for you so that you can prove to yourself that you're strong and you're worthy and you're heroic. And then you're the one saying, I'm exhausted. Why is the universe doing this to me? So this is kind of a bizarre, this is a very bizarre reading, because it's like you're both, you and the higher self are doing the same thing to each other, but it doesn't make sense in a way. The higher self is putting an obstacle, you're putting an obstacle. Yeah, it's just, like I said, it's just kind of funny. There's this strange opposition, working at odds, it seems. So where do we go with this? The Star, Page of Cups, Temperance. Oh, this is great. Page of Swords. Okay, this is all about communication. I really like this. This is really exciting. This is all about communication, and this is all about alignment. So, wow, it's a lot to look at, isn't it? Okay, let's do this in little bits at a time. We have 2 pages, and pages are all about communication. Page of Cups, Page of Swords. So Page of Swords speaking about a new way of being, or speaking about a new way of learning, and learning how to tell the truth for the first time, learning what this means. And Page of Cups is about communicating through relating, communicating through emotionality, through feelings, through the heart. This one is through the mind, this is through the heart. And then at the same time, we've got 2 cards that are very similar about alignment. The Star, bringing a higher consciousness back into the self. So higher self, bringing a self-consciousness to the ego or the personality. And then here, look, higher self again, bringing this flow. So the other thing that's cool about this is that we have, they were this way. Yeah, they were this way. We have this correspondence with the stars related to Aquarius. That's that higher angelic consciousness from somewhere. And I believe, to me, this looks like Sirius, the the dog star, Sirius. It's a realm or a star that gives us artistic inspiration, that feeling of flow. It's a dimension of higher consciousness that we sometimes channel, but that's coming straight down to the self standing here. We have the Page of Swords, which is about speaking about that consciousness. But first we have to feel that alignment. The Page of Cups is saying, come on, let's make friends with that alignment. What this is about making friends with the higher self. And when we think of friend, we think of someone who is nice to us, who wants to give us something that makes us feel good, right? We don't expect our friends to treat us badly. But when the higher self puts you in front of challenges, it can cause this rift. Like, why would the higher self do that? Or for you, maybe your wording is your guides, or maybe it's the universe, whatever it is. Why would we do that? Why would I ask for trials? And so then some of what happens is that your emotionality gets in the way, and then you think, okay, well then if that's what life is trials, if that's what life is, then I'm going to make things harder. I'm just going to look for these trials so that I know what to expect, so that I know that it's going to be hard. So then you self-create the obstacles. And what we're learning here is which one is the obstacle and which one is the door. Every time the soul gives you, or the higher self gives you, a challenge, it's a door. Every time you give yourself an obstacle, it's an obstacle. All right? Every time you make something harder than it truly is, that's an obstacle. So that's how you tell the difference, is that if the challenge leads to a door, it came from the higher self. If the challenge seems to be getting harder and harder, and you're getting more and more emotional, more and more wound up about it, it's likely you are creating an obstacle, or you're putting an obstacle on top of the challenge. All right, you're encasing the crab in iron, you're making him harder, you're making the armor more than it has to be. And the temperance is all about healing, that the higher self understands that you've had this struggle, that you've had this pain happen, and it wants to bring you healing and peace and regeneration. So that you understand and you believe something new, and you can have that new start, all of these birds' nests and the flight that it's happening on this card, so that you can have something new. And it's like in any interesting love story, if there's no point of separation, if there's no trial where somehow the lovers are pulled apart, then it's not really a deep love. If they can come back after the rift, or after the conflict, then the love has a chance to become deeper. And that's where you're headed here. And so I think for some of you, this also means that your gifts, your natural intuitive gifts, are going to expand as a result. Again, a door, as a result of this rift and then coming back together. Because again, communication, Page of Swords, Page of Cups, a new opening, a new space. And I have to show you something really cool about the order in which these cards came out. They flow and blend so nicely. Look at these. We've got like these lily pads in the bottom here. Even though this is air and this is water, they're connecting through the lily pads. And then in this one, those lily pads shift into ferns. And then the ferns persist onto the Page of Swords. And that has a lot of meaning for me personally, because ferns they need a lot of water to survive. So you're not going to see ferns in a very dry place. So the fact that the Page of Swords, which is air, which is kind of dry, has the fern, says that there's still a connected psychic, intuitive element to this energy here. So at the end of all of this, This is about really understanding the gift and the way this gift works, that connection to the higher self is perhaps the most important relationship you will have and do have. What is the advice here? Give us our closing message, please. 2 cards, 3 of Swords, and 4 of Wands. Okay, this really sums it up so beautifully for us, I think. 3 of Swords is the heartache. And that's how we often feel when this huge obstacle is placed in front of us, with this challenger, where have you gone? That whole, my God, why have you forsaken me thing from the Bible. Where did you go? Look what you let other people do to me. Look at, I've been eaten alive. I've been eviscerated. How could you make this happen? But the higher self is saying to you, no, look, this brought us closer together, and look what we've got for the future. We're building this nest together. We're building this foundation together. And together we are going to accomplish, we're going to build this foundation that is going to not only nourish the gifts in you, nourish the gifts in ourselves, but it's going to nourish the people around us as well. There's so much pride and so much happiness in this. And when you feel proud of yourself and who you are, you emit all of this positive energy into your space. And that is what the higher self is trying to have you discover, trying to have you see that every obstacle you've been through, the correct one, the challenge that turns into a door, every one of those that you've been through, that's what you need to be proud of. Be proud of the door that opened. And so for those that really love to write, and I do believe that you're one of them, this is about writing down what those doors were, what the challenge was, and what the door was. And then looking back and seeing that those made you who they were, who you are. Eggshell isn't a single layer. It's many, many fine, delicate layers, but it's actually pretty strong, right? I know that we could probably crush an egg with our hands, but it's strong enough to bear the weight of a full-grown adult bird sitting on it. That's got to be pretty strong. And it's also so strong that the baby birds have a special tooth that they grow on the top of their head to break through it, right? And then they lose that egg tooth when they get older. So this is something very strong that you're growing together, the sense of self, the sense of why you're here. And your higher self is wanting you to become consciously aware of this so that you greet your next phase with more joy, with more expectation, and more trust than you ever have. All right. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you to our guides. Thank you especially to our higher self. But thank you for all of the clarity, and thank you for all of the wisdom, and for the opportunity to engage in this energy exchange. I will see you soon.